And welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another day, day number 3 of World Team League qualifiers. I'm of course your host, Light VIP, and with me I'm joined soon, TM. I will soon be joined by my lovely co-caster, but until then, of course, we have our first matchup of the day. So for those who are wondering, we had already quite a number of teams qualify for World Team League Code A already. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. Yesterday, 4 teams qualified. Today, no team will qualify. we are going to be working through the lower bracket and spawning in the... Oh... Never mind. Spawning in the top right hand corner soon, we are going to be introducing our players, just making sure that everything is okay. Looks like maybe an issue with some of the Chinese casters, but we are getting back into this momentarily. Oh. And here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have... Oh. We have the Mexican Zerg player representing his brand new team, Starlight Twinkle. It is Cham. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient System, we have his opponents. We have the Red Protoss player representing Team LittleFairy. It is FightingFrog. Oh boy, so we were able to follow Starlight Twinkle in yesterday's broadcast. If you recall, yesterday they made it all the way to the qualifying match where Starlight Twinkle faced off against Team StarCom. And it was a pretty close series. It went all the way to the ace match. It went all the way down to Wayne versus Spirit. And in the end, Wayne was able to pull it off for his team. And Team StarCom qualified for Code A. But of course, there is a lower bracket, and Team Starlight Twinkle alongside LittleFairy have one more chance. The loser of this series is of course going to be eliminated. The winner will advance on to a qualifying match which will be played out tomorrow. So there is still one more day after this. One more day that one more day of qualifiers. Meanwhile, massive shout out to Baby Links. Thank you so much for the raid. I do appreciate it. AsherBro will be joining me after this game, but before that happens, we do have a pretty standard opener. A hatch gas pool here from Cham. Everything is looking quite normal. Who's able to take his natural as well, so you love to see it. Meanwhile, FightingFrog is a player that I haven't been able to cast in a long time. It's really interesting. We have yet to cast Team LittleFairy, but it's yeah, it seems to be a team that has been around for quite some time. It is a Chinese team, but for WTL, or I guess they were a clan initially. For WTL, they picked up a couple of pro players, that being Cyan and FightingFrog. So because of that, they're a bit of an underdog, you know? There's not a lot of eyes on Team LittleFairy, but they've got some heavy hitters, and they can definitely go toe-to-toe with the likes of Starlight Twinkle. So this is going to be a close one. Oh boy. And as things kick off, I know Asher's lamenting. He's like, oh, I missed out on game 1. Oh, ZVP. He is so sad right now. I can hear it. I can hear him crying. Kappa. As we have a pretty standard Stargate opener here from FightingFrog, we have a third base being thrown down pretty early, actually. This is a very early third base from FightingFrog. This is scouted by Cham. We don't really have much of anything to defend this, by the way. There's no SimCity, there's no Adepts, there's not even the first Oracle. So very fast here from FightingFrog. We'll see if he can get away with it. For the time being, Cham does have eyes on this, but I mean, he's just going to be droning from here. He can't really do too much about this for the time being. So, yeah, pretty interesting moves here from FightingFrog. Meanwhile, Cham is following things up with an Evo Chamber. I imagine to get into +1 melee. I haven't seen Cham's EVP in quite some time, so I'm really curious to see how he kind of approaches this matchup. For a long time, he was all about these Roach Ravager Queen all-ins, especially in the previous era of StarCraft, back when Skytoss and Double Stargate Void Ray was a lot more meta. Nowadays, things are a little bit different. Things are a little bit more flexible. Lings are going to be pressuring here this third base. And this is what I was talking about earlier. There just isn't really much here to defend. Cham is looking to try and force the Pulsar Beam of this first Oracle. Oh, and here we go. He's even threatening a bit of a strat, but the second Oracle shows up just in time. The third base is safe and sound. And yeah, FightingFrog is going to be able to hold on to this quite nicely. Finally, he can go across the map and get some scanning information and get a little bit of economic damage. Before that happens, again, Cham is just threatening the third base with his Lings. The Oracle actually pulls back here for a moment as well. So again, FightingFrog really working with not too much information here, maybe a little bit paranoid that Cham had more Lings than he was ready for, as he is going to be transitioning. Cham dips in and he sees the lack of continued Stargate production. He also sees the Twilight Council researching, so he can begin to piece together the transition into ground toss. Before that happens, of course, Cham is just going to be continuing to drone. His Lings are still threatening that third. If at any moment he sees an opening, he will go for it. But we have a shield battery. We have an overcharge available soon as well. We have some nice unit positioning overall from FightingFrog. So it's going to be difficult for Cham to really find too much. He almost gets a probe, but nice reaction from FightingFrog. Oh. For that, of course, now FightingFrog for the first time is across the map with his 2 Oracles, and hey, he's going to be able to get a couple of drone kills. Overextends with one of his Oracles, though, takes a lot of hull damage. 5 drones for almost an Oracle. Well worth it for FightingFrog for the time being, as long as he doesn't lose his Oracle from here. And Cham, again, just kind of Chilean. He's taking his 4th base. He's taking his 4th base. He's taking 2 more gases as well. Ling Bane seems to be the composition of choice for the time being. And interestingly enough, we see a Hydrogen on the way as well. We do see that Cham does see, he does confirm the lack of gas, at least at the natural base, but Ling Hydra, or Ling Bane Hydra, is going to be the composition that Cham decides to go for. You love to see it. Well, at least personally, I do. It's a very active style. It can do very well against the hero style of Blink Stalkers. It's kind of what it's designed to go up against. It can sometimes struggle against Charger Archon, but I guess Cham was able to piece together that that's not the case due to all of these Stalkers. And here we go, Cham goes in for a massive surround. We are forced to recall as well. Not the best trades here from FightingFrog, as he does take a couple of these Stalker losses, and this is dangerous. When it comes to this Blink Stalker style, the Stalker count is so crucial to snowball and to slowly get higher and higher. To lose Stalkers early on like this is gonna take a lot of the wind out of his sails. As a result, he's gonna have to back off. He's gonna have to tech switch as well. We have Immortal production. We have a Templar Archives. It looks like he wants to get into Archons, into potentially even Storm, which would be amazing against Ling Bane Roach Ravager. Ling Bane Hydra. But until then, Cham, after deflecting the first push, he has really all the room in the world to just spread all this creep, to do whatever he wants. He has the map control. We can see here, this Stalker army can't really threaten Cham at all. It's here stuck at home defending. If it ever does move out, he's going to get surrounded once again. So Cham is just free to do as he pleases. He can throw down an Infestation Pit, he can take him into a Hive and work on Adrenal Glands as well. All he has to do really is make sure that FightingFrog doesn't establish a 4th base. Speaking of, looks like he's getting in position for a 4th, but the Lings are here to stop him. Oh. So FightingFrog just kind of forced to be contained here, still staying on a more ground toss composition. No Storm is being resourced, so no splash damage, which is a little bit concerning. Without splash damage, the Ling Bane Roach Hydra army can have so much strength, especially when it comes to setting up surrounds on this army. And there we go, finally Storm does begin, but this does feel a little bit late. At this point, Cham already has 80 drones. He's already working on his 5th base. He's done droning for the time being, and he's just going to be focusing on nothing but army production, and Storm isn't going to be ready for this push. Not like this. Cham getting ready to just throw down the hammer. FightingFrog is out of position. He's over here at his 4th base to make sure it gets up and running. Looking at his vision, he has no vision. He has an observer over here across the map, but he doesn't have eyes on the army. Cham is getting ready to pounce upon the 3rd base, and there's only a single Immortal and 1 Stalker here. Here we go, FightingFrog is responding immediately. Storm is still not done. Before that happens, the Banelings are rolling on in. They want to try and get into the middle line. No, they go for the army. Up! Oh no! And they will find their connections. Every Zealot goes down. The High Templar are forced to be morphed into Archons as well. And even though Storm finishes up in a couple of seconds, there is nothing that can actually throw down the Storm. Cham with the map control, with the 80 drones. He just comes on in. He's going for the surround. He takes down the 3rd base, and he's going to be able to clean up the army from here. The Immortals don't really have too much of a buffer anymore. The Banelings were just too damn good, and we never saw a single Storm. Oh. Smooch, Bobby Smooch. GG gets called, and Cham will take the first game. Ooh. In a pretty commanding fashion, to be honest. Like, we talk up Cham time and time again about how he has become a dominant force in the Latin American region. He looks so damn good there, and to see him up against some of these players from outside of his region, you love to see it. And speaking of loving to see it, I love to see this man here. Oh, welcome.
Oh,
Asher. Oh.
I mean, yeah, I had to play hard to get for a bit. It's important, Poppy.
You made me want it, Poppy. You made me. You made me beg.
Oh no. God.
Come to me, Poppy. But yes, welcome, AsherBro, to the stream. It's always great to see you here, Poppy.
What?
Thank you.
Glad to be here. Sorry about that little delay, as I have not. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
I'm here.
okay, we're good. Oh god. So you missed out on your favorite matchup. You just missed out on a ZVP. I know how much you love it, Poppy.
Oh no.
Oh.
It looks like Cham was winning when I checked in last.
Yeah. Nothing changed. Oh god. No, yeah, Cham, he got a lot of really early control of the map. He swatted away the first push, and he had so much freedom. FightingFrog had a bit of a hard time, again, just slowing down Cham, doing much of anything with his oracles, as he did open up with an oracle, as is typically done in this matchup. And yeah, Cham kind of had a lot of control that game.
Cool. Well, it'll be exciting to see a bit of Cham's ZVP. I feel like we've seen most of the other matchups. We've seen a lot of his ZVZ at various times, and got to see plenty of his ZVT last night. But excited to see him in the ZVP matchup, as here he is, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map. It is the Mexican Zerg in the blue, playing for Starlight Twinkle. This is Cham.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponents. We have the Swedish Protoss player representing Team LittleFairy. It is FightingFrog. Do I want to know where the team name comes from?
Don't ask. You'll find out when you're older.
Oh god. Yeah, it's really cool to see a lot of these kind of former clans become more competitive teams here this season of WTL. I think you mentioned it on one of the first days, how a lot of these teams just like ran around and just picked up whatever, like every player that they could to be able to compete here. Like, there's a lot of teams this season.
Yeah, I believe FightingFrog was actually personally asked by these guys. He was on Platinum Heroes before, but I think he was, maybe not looking to compete so much in the future apart from World Team League, and saw the opportunity to be a part of a small team and with friends, I think it was, as well. So just wanted to jump on that opportunity for a bit of a last hurrah, and yeah, it's very exciting to see that.
Oh, that's really cool. They have a little bit of insight, because I think both Kura and I, we were wondering last night, like, how this came to pass, because LittleFairy is a Chinese team, and I believe FightingFrog is the only foreigner. So we're like, how did he get handpicked? What happened? Like, what? How? But I guess maybe he's like,
yeah, I think it's is it Cyan that's on the team?
Yeah, Cyan.
Yeah, I think he said something about Cyan. Maybe his friend through Cyan. I don't want to make something up, but I do seem to remember him saying something about that in the Plat Heroes chat. So something along those lines, anyway.
You're gonna get Funada, mate. Actually, he hates him. How dare you imply that they're friends? Oh god. But yeah, that's actually really cool. That's really cool. It's a combination that I never expected, to be honest, but it's really cool to see that kind of come to fruition. It's always great to see like these kind of odd couple friends in the gamer scene, that cross all these regions and happen to be like practice partners or something like that, or they go way back and they used to be like teammates like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, it's definitely really cool just to see all these different teams getting put together. Even if, it might be a little bit a little bit sad as well for Platinum Heroes to see them go, but yeah, I mean, there might not be too many more World Team Leagues, so this is definitely the chance to make it happen.
Yeah, everyone is piling on in here, and we'll see how LittleFairy can do. Again, they made it far enough to make it to the lower bracket, which is where we now are. The winner of this series moves on to a qualifying match for WTL Code A. And for the time being here, nothing too crazy. Cham, Hatch Gas Pool, we're just droning, all that good stuff. I guess the biggest thing of note, which is crazy, Cham got to take his natural. Ah.
Yeah, that is it's pretty unusual these days, for sure.
That doesn't happen to look. We cherish these moments whenever we can as Zerg players. Okay, you don't understand, Asher. You don't understand.
I don't think you do. I think you become very suspicious. That's what I've noticed.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, like why are you doing this? What are you gonna do to me? Why are you making me let my guard down?
Oh, Smooch. You're never safe, Papi. I'm never safe. But once again, we do see a Stargate opener here from FightingFrog. He moves out with his first Oracle. The third base here is looking a little bit exposed, but we have some decent SimCity here as Cham is looking to try and punish this. Up.
Yeah, a lot of lings being made, and they will be able to catch that Zealot out. The Oracle is brought back home, and we'll have to expend some energy, but Cham's saving a lot of those lings as well. A little bit of a wall check there. Everything is A-okay.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just gets the Zealot, does force the Oracle back, and what's important is the Oracle used a Revelation earlier, so it is already out of energy, so maybe Cham can find an opportunity here, or maybe even force the second Oracle to activate its Pulsar Beam.
Yeah, I mean, just keeping the Protoss at home just makes things very awkward. It's really hard to tell what's going on when those Oracles, they are of course meant for scouting, but this commitment to lings is keeping FightingFrog in the dark.
Exactly. FightingFrog hasn't really been able to scout much across the map. We can see that once again we have +1 melee on the way from Cham. We have a Baneling Nest as well, and he's just had so much freedom to drone. He hasn't even had to throw down any spores here because he knows how safe he is. One Oracle is moving out, but as long as the Queens are in position, then Cham can get away with skipping those spores.
Yeah, it does look like for the moment at least, but the Oracles are going to be moving out. We do have Blink at a pretty quick timing behind this as well. Going to be cutting into that +1 timing to get Blink out nice and early. I definitely think this is a good choice here, and does mean that he'll be able to get that charge going pretty early as well.
Yeah, exactly. We do have that transition into Blink Stalkers once again. Only 2 Oracles, not 3. And oh my, he's going double Robo?
Okay, yeah, that is wild. He's going to be throwing down double Robo at the front of his base there, and I believe this is only off 2 gates at the moment. Yeah, 3 gates in total, that's it.
I have to wonder, is this intentional? We rarely see this, but I'm ready to be taken on a ride, FightingFrog. Oh my god.
I mean, last time I saw double Robo was when Australia played it against Raynor and went for the... Oh dear. Hold that thought. We have to have a moment of silence for those probes.
Yeah, it looks like the Banelings, they waddled in towards the third base. Banelings are waddling in as well towards the army. 20 probes just went down, and those Robos did get scattered as well.
Yeah, that's painful. That is real painful. I was going to say, last time I saw it was Australia going for a quad disruptor drops, flanking with 1 prism while poking the front with another prism, but looks like instead we're going to have Immortals being started up, and Cham, in response to scouting the double Robo, immediately threw down a Hydra Den.
Yeah, there we go. It's going to be a Lingbane Hydra once again from Cham. He went for this composition in game number 1, and he's doing the same here in game 2, and he's already at that 80 drone count. He's working on his 5th base as we speak. Like, economically, Cham is perfectly fine. From here, he can make nothing but Lings and Hydras.
Yeah, FightingFrog is in a really awkward position here where his army is not that great. His economy is really not that great. He hasn't been able to even think about taking a 4th, and just because of that halt in the economy, I don't think he's going to have the kind of army that he needs to stray away from his base and get that 4th up and running. He will be pumping out some Colossus. I think this is a great choice versus Lingbane Hydra, and that will help him secure his position, as well as some Archons that'll be on the way soon.
Yeah, I think this is a good adaptation overall from game number 1, where he knows that he's up against a very light army, and Splash damage is what he needs. These two Colossi are going to do so well against everything that Cham has to work with. But we'll see how many Colossi come out, and we'll see what kind of angle Cham goes for, as we do see FightingFrog finally deal a little bit of counter damage and 4 drones go down.
Yeah, good little poke there. Throws down the Revelation as well for some extra scouting. Might be able to catch some of what's coming out of that lava at the moment. And there we go. We do see +2 on Thermal Lance on the way. So it looks like it's going to be a continued commitment to Colossus.
Oh, yeah, it looks to be the case here. We have 4 Colossi in total, and I feel like 4 Colossus is kind of what we want to be going for, and then start switching into Disruptors to diversify our splash damage. Before that happens, though, Cham is getting close to maxed out. He does have an Infestation bit behind this, though, so he is going to be taking up into Hive.
I actually feel like I'm watching you just with 5 extra drones.
Look, there's nothing wrong with 75 drones, okay? Oh my god, but yeah, now he has access to the Hive, which is going to be pretty important to go into those Vipers. Before that happens, he finally does see eyes, or get eyes on all these Colossi.
Yeah, there we go. We have the revealing of the Colossus, and these Hydras. The Hydra speed hasn't quite kicked in, and you can really tell.
Oh my god, not just that. Bathing speed just now started. Cham didn't know that he didn't have it at the same time.
Oh,
the bathing someone landed. Up. Oh.
Yeah, nice quick warp in from there. FightingFrog with some quick thinking on his feet there is going to be able to save himself a lot of grief. But we have a huge surround setup from Cham here. This is something we saw time and time again yesterday against Cars. Cham surrounds his fights are absolutely fantastic, and he will just draw you in and make you feel comfortable to start poking in, to start looking for damage, and that's when he just envelops armies.
Exactly. Right now, Cham wants FightingFrog to push up this ramp into his bases, but FightingFrog isn't taking the bait. He's going to be rotating over towards the left-hand side. Does catch a lot of lings here, so nice swipes from FightingFrog, but this is slowing him down, and Cham will be able to recover and actually finish Bathing Speed.
Yeah, those 4 Colossus are so punishing. If the army goes anywhere near it, little bits and pieces just get evaporated. I would kind of like to see FightingFrog maybe add in some sentries into this composition. There's nothing here that can break force fields, and I feel like force fields would be extremely good with this army as well.
100%. Sentries are amazing against these Lean Bane Hydra compositions, just because, as you said, there are no Ravagers in play. We do see a Prism on the right-hand side, so it looks like FightingFrog is trying to draw Cham's army apart, as Cham is able to work towards that Hive, and once that is done, he can get those Vipers up and running. Meanwhile, Cham is setting up a counterattack.
Yeah, big counterattack here, and this is kind of playing double duty. This can act as a bit of a surrounding force as well if FightingFrog isn't careful about how he wants to do this, but looks like FightingFrog, he sees that it is as the moment to start charging on forward, and we'll be putting this pressure on as that's a lot of Banelings rolling into that third.
Oh my god, exactly. It looks like all these probes are going to be going down at the same time. Cham is setting up the mass surround. The army is coming in from behind.
Oh, huge surround coming in, and this is where those sentries would have really helped out, because all the Ling Bane is getting right on top of the army. The Banelings are crashing on through, and these Colossus, they are no long for this world. The Banelings kind of rub back and forth over them, and down goes 3.
3 Colossi go down, and with that, Cham, he takes down the mineral line, he shuts down the army, and FightingFrog doesn't really have much left. I'm so glad that Cham decided to turn around. I was very concerned that if he committed to leaving half his army across the map, then he may not have enough to defend, but wise choice, he only left enough to kill the mineral line, and he had more than enough to surround.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, now that I'm looking at that base, I think it might have been nice to maybe leave a couple more Banelings just to finish off these robos. I think that would have been the final nail in the coffin for FightingFrog, but as it is, he is significantly behind, and Cham really just playing this so well. He has such a good sense of timing when it comes to when to go for these attacks, how to put on pressure and keep your opponent back in their base, and just his general flow of army movements, just fantastic.
It really is, and speaking of... Asking you shall receive. A couple of Banelings roll on in, and they take down both of those rovers at the same time, though. We have a massive Zealot run by, and FightingFrog is going to be able to get a lot of drone damage. 8 workers are going to be going down, so he isn't taking this without a fight. And yeah, Cham is suffering a little bit here.
Yeah, Cham on the back foot, and he doesn't have much creep spread over on this side of the map, so one of these bases is definitely going to be threatened here by the army, but it's not the biggest looking army, and it is... I'm kind of scared for FightingFrog here just because he doesn't have those robos. I don't think he really has the money to even replace them either. So I'm not sure what his source of splash damage is going to be, and lurkers are on the horizon.
Yeah, like we have a High Templar, but we don't have Storm right now, and maybe Fighting Frog. There we go. I was like, does he intend to start Storm? No, he morphs everything into these Archons instead. Meanwhile, Cham still has plenty of breathing room. We have those Vipers on the way, and he goes for another run by it.
Yeah, this feels like just about it for Fighting Frog. I feel like he needs to go all in, needs to put on the pressure, but this is what good Zergs do to you. They make you feel like you have to counterattack across the map, and that's just playing into their hands. They want you to walk into their trap, into that massive surround, and oh man, I mean, no robos, so he doesn't actually have an observer for this. Oh, there we go. There is one left over.
Yeah, the observer does come on over, and as you said, Cham, he wants it, Bobby. He wants the Protoss to push into him time and time again. That's kind of the ideal scenario for specifically this kind of army composition. But now we have Vipers, and that's where the dynamic changes. Now suddenly Cham can break these entrenched positions because, like in ZVT where you shut down those tanks, likewise, these Vipers can shut down those Colossi.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like Fighting Frog's army has just been missing something this whole time, whether it be the sentries for force fields or maybe a second source of splash, whether that be Storm or Disruptors. If he is just going to sit back on this army, I wonder if... I don't even know. What is the path to victory here, do you think? I feel like he has to take a fifth if he's not going to go.
I think if we're going to turtle on these 4 bases, we need a fifth and we need to transition into Sky Toss. Like, maybe after his initial push got deflected, that's where we start to throw down a Fleet Beacon and maybe one more Stargate or just a Fleet Beacon itself, and then we can start working on carriers, we can start working on the late game, and we just embrace the turtle toss. Because, as you said, because of the control that Cham has, pushing onto creep, even with an ideal army, is going to be difficult.
Yeah, pretty scary proposition, but there we go. Cham, he is going to be looking to take the fight to him, at least gets a full scout of the army, and in terms of AoE, this is a pretty terrifying army, but there we go. The Vipers threateningly charging on in. We'll be dragging the Colossus into the center of the army. The Banelings all over those Archons, and the army is just melting here on both sides.
Oh my god. Yeah, questionable moves there from Cham. I don't know if you noticed, but every single fight he move commands the Banelings forward, hoping that they die to the Protoss' own auto attacks, and it's a really good strategy to use, but sometimes, you know, it can be a little bit wasteful there, and yeah, Cham still wins the fight, but that was closer than we expected.
It can be a bit awkward if the Banelings just don't die.
Yeah, it can be. Oh my god.
Here we go, Fighting Frog. He realizes this is his moment. This is his only moment to try to make something happen. But alas, we do have many lurkers coming on in.
Do we have any detection of the observer? There is an observer on the map. There's an oracle as well, but the lunkers are pushing on forward. We may not have any Vipers, but we do not need them, as the lunkers are just leapfrogging forward and chasing down Fighting Frog.
Yeah, the siege units chasing down an army in full retreat. You love to see it. As we do see it, he will be ejected from creep forcibly. We have Cham even morphing in some lurkers aggressively right in the face of Fighting Frog, and it feels like he is definitely going all in with all these lurkers and the Vipers just charging into the natural of Fighting Frog.
Oh yeah, exactly. We have that one final yoink. It does connect with that Colossus. The splash damage is gone. The lunkers are here, and the Protoss army is no more.
There is just way too much here. GG is called, and Cham takes down the 2-0 for Starlight Twinkle.
Oh, GG, well played. Cham looking quite good here. Looking quite powerful in his ZVP, and he is able to assert himself. Does take a nice 2-0 lead for his team.
Yeah, Cham looking like a star player right now, as he does tend to do in these World Team Leagues. I mean, I don't know what it is about the World Team League that really just drives him to find this next level, but he has been such a valuable player for every team that he's been on in all the matches that I've seen of him so far.
100%. He's a little bit underrated, and he can definitely, or he definitely was arguably even one of the MVPs for Team GP last season. So it's great to see him, utilized here once again, as we are going to be heading over to the Korean server because Cham did his part, but now it's time for the rest of his team. We're going into a bit of a PvP.
Alrighty. I feel like it's been long enough. I can handle a PvP. I'm ready.
Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. So the next matchup is going to be ReWhite versus yryf. There you go.
I think he neither of these players played the last set, did they?
I believe they did not.
Yeah, cool. Okay. ReWhite's a player that I haven't seen heaps of him, but I do remember. I can't remember what I watched him in, but whatever I did watch him in, he looked really good. Like, he's a pretty strong player, actually.
Oh yeah. He definitely is a strong player. I can't remember. Did we cast the Rakshir Invitational together? Was that just me and Yaku? Like
maybe one of them.
Yeah, maybe one of them. There was yeah, of course, because I'm pretty sure we casted Platinum Heroes in it, and we were like, oh, we're gonna cast Migs, and we didn't cast Migs because he wasn't fielded.
That's right.
Yeah. So in the Rakshir Invitational, ReWhite was fielded quite a bit for his team. Along not just ReWhite, it was also Joliwa Loves as well. And they actually performed really well against, I believe it was Ageddon and some of the other Platinum Heroes players. Like they kind of surprised us a little bit. So yeah, they're also a little bit underrated. You know, there's so many like powerful Chinese players, but they sometimes get overshadowed by players like, you know, Time or Coffee or XY.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there is a pretty lively scene, and hopefully we will be getting, you know, a little bit more eyes on that now that Oliveira's brought such a spotlight to the Chinese scene.
100%. I mean, we've been hearing quite a lot from the Chinese scene when it comes to more tournament support, not just World Team League, but they're also investing in a returning weekly tournament, I believe Kung Fu Cup, and I think they're also going to be starting their own kind of league or Premier League as well. So yeah, it makes plenty of sense, right? Just because I know that Time did give StarCraft a lot of publicity in China, and they're gonna like reciprocate with just supporting it as much as they can.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, it's definitely cool to see some of these other players as well. It's going to be a very competitive, region.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very competitive indeed.
Musical chairs, and there's only one chair.
we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, weird. Well, let's not don't get me started on it.
We don't have to smudge,
no,
it's okay. We can smudge. We can smudge later. We'll make a podcast about it.
No. We don't want to do that.
Oh god. But yeah. So it's great to see all these events starting up from the region itself. You know, from all over the place. To be fair, ourselves included. You know, ourselves included. But yeah, hopefully it just kind of means that we get to see more of these players, right? More of your rewrites, more of the players from these more smaller teams, and we could even see more of them here in WTL. I myself, I don't think I've casted yryf at all, and I don't even know how I'm going to say his name. Is it yryf?
Yeah, me neither, but
yryf?
This is why I'm glad we've got World Team League. I'm glad we've got some of these smaller tournaments, including some region knock tournaments, so these players do have a chance to play in some there.
100%. So the pressure is going to be on Team LittleFairy here to try and fight back and try and put some points on the board. I do think that ReWhite is the favorite, but I'm only saying that because we've been able to cast more of him. We're a little bit more familiar with him overall. But it's going to be a PvP, so yeah, anything can happen.
We're biased.
Just a little bit.
I mean, I've seen a few Chinese PvPs, and I think we're going to be in for an exciting game.
Yeah. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. Oh god. Other than that, yeah. Have you been today, Asher? What have you been up to? What'd you get for dinner? What have you eaten?
Oh boy, have I eaten? Probably not.
You haven't eaten? Mate. Look, I'm not saying you need to get your life together, but there have been some times where I've been like, yo, what'd you eat today? And you're like,
I think I just like ate.
Like,
I ate at like 4 or 5 p.m. and that was kind of. It's a bit of an in between, you know. You're not quite dinner, not quite lunch, and I'm sure there'll be snacks later on.
You're like, have I consumed?
Now that you mention it.
Yeah.
Maybe I want a kebab. Maybe it's gonna be one of those days. I'm just like, it's way too easy to talk me into getting Uber Eats when I'm casting. I don't know what it is.
What is it? Babelings has said a similar thing where it's like I trigger something in the people watching to like order pizza, you know? Not saying that you need to get pizza, Asher, but
pizza would be pretty good too.
Oh, there you go.
I don't think there's any cheap pizza. What's your go-to pizza? Because I know something that freaked me out a lot when I came to Melbourne for the first time is people are really into margarita here, which no one in Sydney like had margaritas when I was a kid. And when I came to Melbourne, it was like everyone's favorite pizza. And I don't know why, because it's just cheese. Like if you're going to get a pizza, I feel like that's like an entree pizza, just cheese and herbs.
Yeah, like, you know, like garlic bread with cheese, you know, like.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a garlic bread. I'm like, well, where's the pizza?
I understand. I hear you. I mean, margarita, it is a thing here. It is definitely a thing, but I feel like if you want to make it a thing, if you're gonna order margarita, like there are different like versions of it, right? There's like 4 cheese pizza. Have you heard of that? Where it's like 4 different kinds of cheese.
4 cheese pizza is pretty lit. Yeah.
Right? Like
that's different though.
I guess, but also
it's like the difference between having like a slice of cheese, like of brie or something, or having like a full burrata. Like, I don't know, it's different.
Fair.
Man, I haven't had burrata in ages.
Oh god, but yeah, my go-to is there's a local.
That's a sexy food.
You've said it before in this very sultry way and during a class. You're like, oh, I'll get some burrata. Let's go.
What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Alright, we can talk more about pizza in a second. As spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of the map in the blue, this is our Protoss player representing Starlight Twinkle. This is ReWhite.
And spawning.
Wait, what? I've never seen that before.
I think someone has snuck into the... Is that text? No, it would look different, right?
Yeah, I've never seen is attempting to rejoin the game
I've
before.
never seen that before. That's crazy.
That's not a thing as far as I know.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner, representing Team LittleFairy, it is yryf. At first, I thought it was someone typing, but when someone types...
like that has left the game trick.
Yeah. But if someone's typing it, it looks different, right? Am I crazy?
Well, it'd have the colon, like it.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. Because it would say observer next to it and stuff. Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Something's wrong, I guess. Okay.
All right. Well,
I am thoroughly confused.
I am a little bit as well, but you know, maybe it seems there are some issues, but we're going to be resolving them. It's all good. It's okay. But pizza though. Oh god.
I think you were saying something about saltiness.
Saltiness?
Yeah.
I don't think
we're talking about margaritas.
Yeah.
We're talking about cheese.
Right, I was talking about the cheese.
And margarita being a bit basic. Oh, the 4 cheese pizza.
Yeah. There's the 4 cheese pizza, but also like good margaritas. I feel like they like accentuate. I could be crazy, and maybe I'm thinking of something else. But if you go to a fancy place, with their margaritas, they also have like slices of tomato on them, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like basil and tomato.
Yeah. Like they, it's more than just cheese, in a good place.
I kind of get it now though. Like just a really like thin slice of margarita. It's pretty good. Kind of craving it really, really hard right now.
Oh. Okay, okay.
Oh, you're not here?
Yeah, I realized that I'm not here.
Yeah. Do you want me to stream to you?
Oh, did you start? No. Okay.
Yeah, okay, let me stream to you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is gonna be...
This is gonna be very scuffed.
Yeah. No.
It's okay.
Okay, it's all good, it's all good.
Oh, they're asking for re? Oh, they're remaking.
Ah, let's go.
Yeah. Alright, they remade.
Okay, okay, all good, all good. Could you invite me once the lobby is made? Cause
Yes. Oh, you're in the party.
yeah,
It's okay. You're with us.
yeah. We apologize for all the technical issues. We're just managing a lot of casters. And a lot
I
of
don't know what half of them are.
There's a lot of people in here. There's a lot of people.
Alright, I think we're working it out. I think we're getting there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Do you think can you translate?
No, I really can't.
Okay. Oh good, oh good. So what's your go-to pizza? What's your go-to pizza?
I feel like I've had this conversation with you before, and we talked about how pineapple on pizza is not that bad, but
yeah.
probably a barbecue chicken with pineapple.
Well, oh right, that's what you said. You were like, you know what? I like pineapple pizza, but with chicken. With chicken. That was your
Yeah. If not that, I like a roast veggie pizza, like eggplant and zucchini and capsicum and that with like a good amount of chili.
Okay, I've never had a vegetarian pizza. I don't think. Maybe once. Maybe once. Is this where I bring up the
it's
kangaroo
nice, and you can
pizza?
put you can put pine nuts as well. No, this isn't where you bring up the kangaroo pizza.
Were you in the chat?
We're having a nice conversation, like I was. Leave it out.
It's the only time I've had kangaroo. It's the only time.
But that's what I was saying. Kangaroo steak is actually so good. I don't know why you need to have cheese with it.
Very tender.
It's kind of... You're not meant to do that with game. It's terrible. Okay, here we go. We're on Dragon Scales. Third time is the Cham and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. It is for Starlight Twinkle, ReWhite.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing LittleFairy. It is yryf. Oh boy. I feel... Go on.
I've got it. It's... You right, young fella? YRYF.
You right? Okay, okay.
It's his Aussie name now. You right, young fella?
Oh god. You heard about old mate? Nah, now you heard about young fella, mate. Let's go.
Young fella.
Oh my god. I may just call him the blue Protoss. We'll see. But I feel like we haven't casted a good PvP together in a while. We haven't been able to play the game.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I've had to play my own PvPs just to get my fix.
Oh.
But every time I do that, I know what's coming out of the gateway. 2 stalkers.
And then another 2 stalkers.
Yeah, and then another 2, and then another 2.
They just never.
And then another 2.
They never stop.
No, they really don't. I wish I could do anything else.
Shaking my head, shaking my head. All right.
I have an addiction.
It's time to play the game. Go for
double adept.
From ReWhite?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Double stalker! Oh no! Oh.
They both went stalker sentry.
We're both wrong.
The shame. We brought shame upon our families.
Feels bad, man. So for those at home wondering, of course, on these maps, it is very typical for Protoss players to open up 2 gateway, and depending on the kind of units that come out from these gateways, we can kind of predict how they want to approach this game, whether they want to be aggressive, whether they want to be defensive, and Stalker Sentry is one of the more vanilla openers, very kind of safe and standard.
Yeah, this is definitely more of a macro opening. It's designed to give you constant scouting, which helps you take your Nexus and keep everything safe. So we are going to be seeing, looks like both players throwing down their Nexus at roughly the same time here. And this is definitely something that you often see in PvP when the players just kind of want to feel each other out. The Stalker's Sentry opening, it's going to be safe versus everything as long as you scout it on time, as we do see those first few Hallucinated Phoenix getting sent out.
Yeah, exactly. With these hallucinations, you basically can see everything. From time to time, you can see some Protoss players try and deny the hallucinated scout when trying to hide some kind of tech, but it can be a difficult thing to do. Speaking of, yryf is in position. He snipes the hallucination, and looking at the vision, it looks like, ooh, the Twilight Council was barely scouted.
Oh, he was in position, but the Twilight does get scouted. He's going to be going for a bit of a proxy pylon here, so I'm feeling DT, I gotta say.
Let's go. Show us the Dark Shrine. Show us the Dark Shrine here. Give it to us. We all want it. The Twilight Council still a couple of seconds away from finishing up. Meanwhile, this hallucination is going to go and just confirm that there was no cancel. And yes, does see the research on the Twilight Council.
That's gotta be a fake. Yeah. He has to fake it out as the hallucination jumps in. So he's just gonna make sure that he kills off that hallucination. Although it is on a beeline to find this proxy.
Oh, it doesn't see it.
No way. You've got to be kidding me. I think it misses the probe just as well. And it looks like we are going to be having, the Dark Shrine going down after Blink. This is something that I've seen a lot of people doing. I think Hero's been doing this a lot as well. Yeah. Just kind of getting the Blink anyway, because I mean, like, if you're going to fake it and you had the money for it, why not? Why not let it finish? Yeah. It's definitely going to throw your opponent for a loop, and it helps you out if the game does continue.
100%, and this is a dangerous prospect here for ReWhite. He unfortunately wasn't able to see anything. He is getting a robo pretty promptly, which is very important for him to get some kind of detection. But these ETs have a lot of potential to do damage, and we've seen players like Hero make these ETs work even in the mid to late game, where it doesn't matter if you have a detection, you can just come in with 3-4 DTs anyway and just eviscerate a Mineral Lion.
Yeah, I mean, ReWhite's going to be playing things nice and safe, and I like to see this. He's going to be going up to 4 gates and a robo before he gets his 3rd base, so just making sure that he is going to be completely safe, and I guess that's a good idea when maybe you're not so familiar with your opponent. I mean, it's possible that he is. I know they're from a similar region, but I think it is a good choice just to play things a little bit safer in that first game, especially when it does kind of seem like something's missing here.
Yeah, it really does. And here we go. The first CT is waddling across the map, but an observer is on the way, and it looks like, yes, ReWhite, he spotted it. He knows. He sees it coming in. Up.
I wonder if he didn't realize that wasn't a wall between the battery and the Nexus, but there we go. He is going to be running those probes away. Lovely body blocking, and really prevents so much damage there. That was fantastic. Really well handled there by ReWhite.
100%, man. I also thought that it was a full wall between the Nexus and the shield battery. But regardless, he deals with the DT. He has plenty of detection. 3rd base is on the way for both players, but a little bit faster here from our blue Protoss.
Yeah, I mean, behind these DTs, he has managed to cut quite a lot of corners. He has a lot less army, and there we go. As I say that, ReWhite going to be pushing across the map and has a very good chance to cancel his 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, we're not really in position for this. We have 1 Immortal, and that will make up for the overall supply deficits, but it's not quite in position here, and even if it does go up this ramp, we have plenty of energy for force fields.
Yeah, so there we go. The cancel is going to be used there. We have a lot of gateways finishing up. We have charge on the way as well. So we do have another timing here if he does want to go for it. It's possible that he even makes a prism after this and just goes all out for an attack.
Yeah, exactly. He has that option if he so chooses here to just go all in off of 2 bases. In total, we have 8 gates set up here for our blue Protoss, as opposed to the 4 of the red. So yeah, I do think that he has an opportunity here to just send it across the map and maybe catch ReWhite off guard.
Yeah, absolutely. As we do see ReWhite continuing to send out that hallucinated scout, just being extra careful. Needs to make sure that he keeps an eye on the army movement, and he is going to spot that army coming across the map now.
Oh yeah, he does spot the army. He can prepare himself. The third base is done. We have a couple of shield batteries on the way, a cannon as well. He's throwing down the second shield battery as well. He knows that all he has to do is defend it.
Oh yeah, he is taking this very seriously, as he should. There is no third on the way. Looks like he might be able to run in and possibly snipe out the War Prism, but no, not getting overly greedy. Just going to take whatever picks he can and start kiting this army backwards.
Yeah, exactly. He's forced all the way back to his third base. I love the hallucinated Immortal as well from yryf as well. We do have the overcharge just to help support.
Yeah, very cute there, but the overcharge is going to buy enough time for these extra batteries to come in. But we have another warp in of Zealots, and this is where things start to get really tricky here for ReWhite. His army is just getting evaporated by the Immortals.
He doesn't have enough. The Immortals are going ham right now. There is no answer for them. The shield batteries, they are out of energy. 4 shield batteries apparently not good enough. And yryf has done it here with his 2-base solid. He's broken the third.
Yeah, he's broken the 30 kills. All of his army, even takes out some of those retreating probes, but he wants more. He's going to be charging up into the natural, where there is only 1 shield battery here. Looks like battery overcharge is not going to be there either. And oh, beautiful force field trapping those stalkers that have just blinked now.
Yeah, exactly. So many stalkers going down. We have a warping of reinforcing zealots as well coming in from the south. Boys are being pulled. The 2 Immortals are still standing strong, and again, there is still no answer for them. Oh my god.
Like, did you know Immortals counter probes?
Oh, they counter everything. Oh my god. GG gets called, and LittleFairy put a point on the board.
Yeah, there we go. LittleFairy find themselves back in this matchup, and yryf with a very strong timing there.
Oh, very well done. I mean, despite all the hallucinated scouts, I mean, to be fair, again, ReWhite did confirm the lack of third. He confirmed that his opponent was moving out across the map. He was trying to prepare himself for it. He even moved out with his stalkers, which I think was the correct move to try and slow down the push, to try and buy himself more time, but it just wasn't enough. His production was just a little bit too late.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny as well, because he almost forced him into that all-in position, but I guess that's just the way of PvP. It's really always on a knife's edge.
It really is. It really is. And despite the fact that the DT opener didn't really deal too much damage at all, you know, the all-in follow-up really caught him off guard. I think what was interesting about it as well is that I believe all 8 gates were on the way as he was working on his third. Like, it's not like they were a reaction to him canceling the third base. I believe that was still on the way, so I wonder if there was even a plan to saturate the third, or if he had intended to push out anyway and just have that third as a bit of a fake out.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, I don't think I know enough PvP to say this for sure, but it felt a little bit to me like he was hoping that the DTs would be keeping ReWhite at home, and he could just kind of greedily get all these gateways behind that without making too many units. But either way, it worked out pretty well for him.
Oh yeah.
As here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map. Looking to get a little bit of revenge. Get his team back in that winning column. This is the Chinese Protoss in the blue, ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have his opponents. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing Team LittleFairy. It is yryf.
Fella, you right, young fella?
I wonder if there's like if there is a story behind LittleFairy. Like, we found out that there was, I mean, we didn't know what the story was, but we found out that there was a little bit more lore behind the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse when it comes to everyone's player names and stuff.
I can't get that tweet out of my head of them bringing the pizza home to Knock Knock. It's so good.
Oh my god, yeah, it's great. There's a lot of like camaraderie there, you know. It's really cute. It's really cute. But LittleFairy, I wonder as well. Like, they have like a team logo and everything. Like, what's happening? Are they like Peter Pan fans? You know, is it Tinkerbell? I don't know.
No, it's not Tinkerbell. I was thinking that. I had to zoom in to check, but it's not.
because that's like the only LittleFairy that I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so out of left field, you know. Like, I don't know if we can talk, or I don't know if I can talk when our team is like the CranKy Ducklings. It's like, what? Like, I'm sure a lot of people are like, why is it cool? Why are they the Ducklings? It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know.
Be the cute Ducklings.
Sure, good.
The Arrabbiato Ducklings.
Oh god. You're a man of many talents, Asher. I love it. I think my favorite Asher is whenever you whip out Portuguese every now and then, Brazilian.
Oh, you've heard every word I can say in Portuguese.
It's always really impressive, though. It's always really impressive.
It's just obrigado, boa, and caralho.
It's great. It's amazing. You're fluent, Papi. You're fluent.
Yeah, that's all I need. Apart from that, we can just say Italian with a Portuguese accent and hope it works.
There you go, mate. There you go. So we do have a little bit of a different opener this time. We do see ReWhite opening up with double Adept, so a much more aggressive variation of this opener. Only 2 Adepts, so he doesn't make 4 or even 6 behind this, so he's just going to be testing the walls here, testing the waters, and just, in a way, skill checking his opponent.
Yeah, he's going to be opening up with a couple of Adepts and a couple of Oracles as well. This is pretty much your stock standard PvP. This is what we see probably the most of all when we think of these standard macro players like Showtime, but this has not really worked out too well. The Sentry actually traps itself in there, so that's a nice little price for those Adepts. I'll be more than happy with that.
Mate, the setup, the layup here.
The Oracle.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So a couple of things happened. The Oracle came in and it killed the probe that was throwing down the pylon and it kept walling off the Adepts. So it was a bit of a 1-2 punch. The Adepts came in, they killed both sentries, and we got 3 probe kills.
It looked so bad at first with the Oracle taking all that damage, but he did have a greater plan there.
Oh yeah, you know, we have a second Oracle coming across now as well. The shield battery is not going to be good enough to keep this mineral line alive. At the same time, though, yryf is going across the map. He's got his 2 gateways, only 2 gates. He doesn't really have too much to speak of, but he's going to be able to slip into the main.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to put a bit of pressure on himself, but these 2 Oracles are so scary. This is why this has become the stock standard PvP build, is because no matter what your opponent is doing, you can always kind of get yourself back in the game with 2 Oracles. It's a constant threat.
Exactly. 8 probes go down for the red Protoss. At the same time, though, the Adepts continue to harass the mineral lines, and they are also going to get 6 probes of their own.
Oh my god. That skin is so dramatic.
The skin of the Adepts?
Yeah, the Adepts. Do you see how they explode when they die?
Yeah. I like it.
Violent.
Oh god. Yeah, after all said and done, we do see ReWhite slightly ahead in the worker count overall. It was a really interesting opener, by the way. You don't see it too often from yryf to go for a 2-gate opener into a robo into a prism just for Adept harass. Very out of left field.
Yeah, definitely, but felt a bit of pressure to get something going on the other side of the map. Is before this hits, I do have to say, I never really noticed my own skins in game, but I do have favorite skins for my opponent to have. I really like when Zergs have the like mecha skins, because the Zerglings make such a satisfying noise when they die.
You're an animal. Oh my god. As we do see ReWhite pushing on forward here. No shield batteries are ready for this push. Ay. yryf caught completely with his pants down.
Yeah, just a bit distracted by the Oracles there, and the sentries go down the blink of an eye, and with that, we do have ReWhite taking the game back, and it's going to be a 1-1 in the PvP.
Wow, GG, well played. Despite the fact that both players are doing a great job at harassing each other, yryf unfortunately wasn't able to really get vision out on the map, wasn't able to confirm that the army was indeed coming his way, and he was woefully unprepared.
Yeah, absolutely. But ReWhite really flexing his skills. I think after losing that first game, he was like, "No, no, no, we're having none of that. I'm going to show you what I'm made of." And he was, yeah, extremely adept with that opening.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very assertive, especially like the contrast between game one and game two, right? Where ReWhite was hyper defensive and very scouting oriented in game number one. And after that loss, he's like, "Nah, mate, I'm done with all this, with all this nonsense. Let's go." He puts a point on the board. You love to see it. Unfortunately, we're not going to get an ace match between these two, but they did end up doing well for their own respective teams. And now it all comes down to our next series. And this is going to be a pretty good one, a pretty big one. Spirit versus Cyan.
Yeah, it feels like we've kind of saved the best till last. They were a fantastic couple of games before, but Spirit and Cyan, these are the big guns. These are the star players for both teams. We saw that yesterday with the ace match. They did send out Spirit to play against Wayne, and this is going to be a top tier TVP that we have for us on on altitude.
Oh, you love to see it. But yeah, I mean, Cyan, I think I can pretty confidently say that he is the ace player of his team, of Team LittleFairy. So for him to come out here against Spirit, I think the other impressive thing, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Cyan is also one of those players in the Chinese region that can sometimes, you know, kind of test the mettle of Oliveira and take maps, and sometimes even more than that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cyan's very good. He's a player that we have seen. He's kind of been a stalwart of the region, but he's become stronger and stronger as time has gone on, and he's always one to keep an eye out for. So I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park for Spirit by any means. He's probably the favorite, but I wouldn't say by that much, really. I mean, I remember seeing Cyan take games off Clem in some pretty convincing fashions as well.
I see what you did there. Over time.
Oh, it wasn't on purpose.
Oh my god. But yeah, you know, time is one of the other major forces in the Chinese region, or Cyan, sorry. And we'll see how he contends against Spirits. I don't believe these players have faced off too often at all. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a clash of regions.
I don't think Spirit's too happy about altitude. What's that portrait, by the way? Is that Zest?
Yeah, it's Zest. Yeah.
Nice.
Beautiful. I miss him so much.
I appreciate a Zest fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Protoss that my ape heart desires.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
As here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map. Arguably the star player here for LittleFairy. This is the blue Protoss from China, Cyan.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of altitude, we have his opponent, the Polish Terran player representing Team Starlight Twinkle. It is Spirit.
I don't want to get him into any trouble here, but it does look a bit like the TSM logo, doesn't it?
I guess. I mean, I don't know the TSM logo.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch League of Legends.
Just say no, it doesn't.
No, it looks nothing like. What are you on about? You know, just because there's an S and just because there's a T, all right, just because two letters are the same doesn't mean it's the same word. Asher.
All right. I don't know what I was thinking. I'll discipline myself.
I'm looking at the TSM logo. Nah, mate, you're crazy.
Really?
TSM looks like the Warner Brothers logo.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Maybe they changed it.
Hold on. But maybe
I'm just really wrong.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll show you later.
Okay. All right. We do have a bit of an eBay block coming out from Spirit, being very cheeky with it as well, trying to get as much build time as he can. So this is going to be a pretty big delay here for Cyan. Actually, no, it's not. It isn't a delay at all. It's just mining time.
There you
Probably going to work out pretty even for the two players.
Yeah. I mean, it does delay. I mean, it does cause a little bit of economic damage to Cyan, but as you mentioned, it also is an investment from Spirit. Cyan, what I will say, was very quick to actually respond to that NG bay. Thankfully, he was checking at a good time with his probe, and he was able to pull workers very quickly to deal with it.
Yeah, there are some players that will regularly check for that eBay block at the time that it normally comes in, so Cyan does get the better of that, but in the end, it's just going to be kind of a bit of a strange opening for both players. Everything's going to be very slightly off, the timing's going to be a bit off, and we do see Cyan is going to be responding to this with a Stargate opener. Definitely a good way to go as, oh, we lost the probe. That's not great.
Yeah, the probe was left a little bit idle, and it did go down to an SCV, so Cyan is going to be a little bit more in the dark as a result. The second probe is going to go down across the map to this Reaper, but the Reaper's not long for this world. It does get picked off by the Adept.
Yeah, I guess that's... Okay, so that's the two probes, including the scouting probe. Two probes, pretty nice for the Terran opening up. You're definitely going to be feeling confident from that, especially at this level. And we do see he's going to be throwing down another racks behind that factory. So this is something that has become a lot more trendy, of course. We've seen Oliveira, of course, famously going for this build quite a lot. And it does give you slightly earlier than usual pressure and matches up quite well with Stargate builds.
Yeah, it really does, as we have that kind of 3-rack setup. As you're pointing out, there's plenty to deal with what is coming in the air. We already have a Cyclone on the way as well, despite the fact that the Stargate itself wasn't scattered by Spirit. He did end up missing the Scout. He can, of course, assume what is coming his way, especially off of this Adept opener. Oh.
Yeah, we do have these two Adepts at the front with the constant pressure. This is cool. I think I've seen this once or twice, but it's... incredibly annoying. Just a bit of an APM check coming out here from Cyan.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, the Phoenix does slip into the main base, does confirm the production, does get eyes on all 3 of those Raxes, and of course, Spirit also confirms the Phoenixes that are out on the map.
Yeah, dips out of there with the quickness as well. Love to see that with that Cyclone coming out so soon. Looks like Cyan knows his timings pretty well. He's going to be able to get both the Adepts out as well.
That was really slick. that was pretty impressive there from Cyan. He doesn't lose anything here to the Cyclone, just deals a little bit of hull damage to it. We should be seeing a repair soon, I imagine. There we go. An SCV does get pulled to top head on up. And Cyan is the player with the map control. With all these Phoenixes, he's free to expand. We see a 3rd base on the horizon here. As behind this, we see Charge as well.
Yeah, it is going to be Phoenix Charge coming out, and this can be a bit scary because we're going to have a nice high Marine count here for the Terran. If he can get a nice early push going, it can hit before we have enough Warpins of Zealots to crush it. It is going to be a very small window, though.
Yeah, we'll see if he can hit that window. We'll see if he wants to hit that window. As for the time being, is still contained here to his 2 bases. We have +1 attack on the way for Spirit as he's just working on this Marine count. And the medevacs have now begun. Medevac.
Yeah, we've got the 3rd on the way for Cyan. So I do really like as well that he's going Phoenix Charge on this map just because it's such a big and open map. This is going to be a really good way to establish that map control, and this can spiral out of control really quickly. You can start going into those high probe styles where you're just constantly trading and keeping the Terran on the back foot.
Yeah, I was about to say that you were talking about this kind of window of opportunity that maybe Spirit can hit, but because the map is so large, because it takes so long to move out across the map, then maybe, I don't even know if that window exists, because Cyan is going to have that many more Warpins to prepare for this push, as he does get eyes on the army as it moves out.
Yeah, doing a really good job with these Phoenix here, and they might even be able to... Okay, they are threatening the medevac, but won't take it off. Slick moves once again, going over the site blocker to break that lock on.
Exactly, they even force a sim. They force Spirit to back off as well to try and maybe even cache those Phoenixes, so misreading the movement a little bit as he does confirm the charge that's waiting for him across the map.
Yeah, that's really nicely done by Spirit to send out that little scout there. He won't be getting caught out on the map, and he will be able to preserve his unit count here, which is really important when you're playing against these styles. I mean, the army of Cyan, it's not an army with a lot of longevity. It's something that he wants to spend a lot of time trading with the Terran army and kind of being the Zerg player in that way, just winning out on having that map control and just battering down the Terran.
Yeah, exactly. It's very Cham-esque that we saw earlier in the day where they're kind of hoping for the Terran to push into them, and then they can set up these kind of flanks, they can set up these surrounds, and have these more favorable engagements. And Spirit is not going to let Cyan kind of force him to play into how he wants. He's going to back off instead and kind of respect his position.
Yeah, and I mean, if there's any Terran that's comfortable sitting back like this, it is Spirit. So I'm sure he doesn't mind this whatsoever. He's just going to look to get into his upgrades, maybe get into ghosts, get into a bit of a higher supply count before he pushes out. And once he hits that like 150, 160 supply count, I think we're going to see him moving out as well.
And there we go. He's going to at least move out to establish his third base. He's going to be able to catch some of these scouting zealots. We do see hallucination dipping in to just confirm the overall production, and it will eventually get eyes on the third if it goes a little bit further. Meanwhile, Spirit is moving out, but the Xel'Nagas are under the control of Cyan. Oh.
Yeah, and beautiful timing with those Phoenix just jumping in, so opportune, and we'll be taking out all of those SUVs taking to the third, but Spirit here is not turning back. He has all of these mines ready to go, ready for this push, and push he will. This is a really scary moment here for Cyan.
There we go. Overcharge is while we have 6 mines behind this army for Spirit. He's going to be dragging the army into that. The first mine shot is going to be going off, and we have more where that came from. Why the friendly fire? Ooh.
Yeah, beautiful move there with the Phoenix dragging over, but I don't know if it's enough. I mean, he lost the Archon before, he lost so many Zealots, and Micro from Spirit was just so exemplary, and we are going to be having a pretty good trade coming up, but I think there's just a little bit too much Terran here for Cyan to handle.
Exactly. Cyan's army does crumble in the end. As you said, the first Archon did go down before that big engagement, but we see a scan and Spirit does recognize that we have another warp, and we still have a couple of shield batteries as well. Spirit, though, he doesn't care, he pushes forward.
Yeah, he is not messing about, and he is going to just going to be kiting off as many of these Zealots as he can. Looks like Cyan was trying to drag the mines onto the army of the Terran, but unfortunately didn't quite manage to pull that off. He does that time, but there's just too many medevacs here. Look how quickly the Bio's healing back up.
Yeah, exactly. Even though we had a beautiful friendly fire there from the side of the Protoss, it is not going to be enough. Spirit is not stopping his parade push. He is reinforcing from across the map, and even though it takes quite some time to get across the map, he is slowly breaking this third.
Yeah, Spirit is looking dominant. His control with this army is just so fantastic, and Cyan's having a really awkward time getting a good engagement and getting on top of this Bio. He's just having so many units shaved off as he tries to find a good angle to hit.
Exactly. We even have the EMPs as well. The Zealots get eviscerated, the Phoenixes as well, and that is it. That is the army. We only have a couple more Zealots behind this and one Immortal, but there's another EMP.
Yeah, EMP goes down. GG is called, and beautiful stuff from Spirit there.
Wow, Spirit does take the first game. Not just the first game, but I believe as a result, he is actually going to be doing it for his team. We're still going to play out game number 2, but Starlight Twinkle do take it with their at least for now, 4-1 match score.
Oh. Yeah, there we go. So congratulations there to Starlight Twinkle. They will be going on to that lower bracket final to be fighting for that qualifying spot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, that one win is all that Starlight Twinkle needed, and they got it. Spirit does it for his team, but Cyan is still going to be fighting back here, is still looking to redeem himself in game number 2, and that was a pretty close game. Like, Cyan had some pretty slick moves throughout the game as well, despite the fact that eventually he was overwhelmed. Yeah, he was still looking quite impressive.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think what it really just came down to in the end is just Spirit hitting such a good timing, and his control just looked a little bit cleaner than that of the Protoss. In terms of the opening and the harass, Cyan was looking really fantastic, including, kind of APM checking Spirit pretty effectively there as well. But it seems like Spirit was not shaken, and the army control was just a little bit too good.
Just a little bit too good in the end. And yeah, specifically maybe losing that one Archon a little bit too early on may have just changed the entire course of that battle. These little small mistakes, they really do add up, and they really do kind of compound themselves at the highest level of play here.
Yeah, absolutely. But Cyan, he has a chance here to redeem his name and get one back on the board before we wrap this one up. Here he is in the top left-hand corner of the map, representing LittleFairy. This is Cyan.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Near Humanity, we have his opponent, the Polish Terran player representing Team Starlight Twinkle. It is Spirit.
Does look similar. It totally does.
I sent you the logos. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I was thinking of, yeah.
I mean, there's an S, and it's a circle.
Yeah.
There's a T, kind of.
And it kind of looks like a maze. Like.
Yeah. I can give you the maze part. Yeah. Okay. I can see it. Are you accusing TSM of copying Starlight Twinkle? Is that what you're saying?
I am. League is cancelled.
Cancelled, papi. Ay. But yeah, we'll see how this all turns out here. Spirit lamenting a little bit about the larger map, but interestingly enough, Cyan goes for Near Humanity, another kind of very defensive map as well.
Yeah. I think we're going to be seeing Phoenix Colossus. I have actually seen, so when I did see Cyan play against Clam, I'm 95% sure it was Cyan. He played on Moondance, which traditionally was a pretty awful map for Protoss against Terran, and he went for like a 2-base Phoenix Colossus all in. It was really interesting. So he just went like a Phoenix Colossus opening, but instead of throwing down a third, went for 8 gates and just had this massive Colossus Phoenix bust, and Clem just died.
Yeah, I wonder if we can maybe see something like that done here, replicated on Near Humanity, because rush distance wise, quite similar to Moondance, I can say. But I guess if it isn't seen coming, maybe he can try and pull something like that off. I guess especially with the Phoenix control that he's going to have early on, with all the map control that he's going to have, it can be difficult for Spirit to kind of discern whether it's an all-in or not that he's up against.
Yeah, and here we go. The Reaper going to be popping in. That is, of course, it's actually a 1-building wall. You can just put 1 gateway there and wall off that Reaper jump. But he is going to be walled off from getting in there, and the Stalker going to prevent him from getting any other scouting. Actually, the Stalker very aggressively pushing this Reaper back.
Oh, yeah, the Reaper. Oh, God! He's going to take a couple of extra hits, and it is going to go down to the Stalker.
I hate it so much when people do that.
Is this the equivalent of me like rushing off creep with my links to like catch a Reaper or catch some Hellions?
Yeah, to try to surround the Reaper, except it's good.
So Protoss can get away with it. Oh, smooch.
Smooch, as we are going to be seeing 2 more gateways going down, so okay, it does look like he has the makings here to go into a 4-gate blink off the Oracle, which is something that we have been seeing come back into vogue a little bit more. It's something that Hero was breaking out quite a lot recently. It'll be interesting to see how much Cyan is willing to commit to this.
Yeah, we'll see how this all kind of comes together here, as on the other side of things, we see Spirit opening up here with a Widow Mine drop. The Oracle is going to slip in and will confirm this, by the way. It can also get a couple of kills. I don't believe there are any Widow Mines in position yet, until now, of course, revealed.
Yeah, he's going to be playing things a little bit safe, just dropping that Revelation, trying to see what's going on. Does get all those buildings tagged as well, so he should know roughly what's happening. That 1-1 opener going into the 3-1-1, and yeah, there we go. Just going to be establishing that third, getting blink, so it's not going to be a big all-in commitment to this blink.
Yeah, exactly. It was the setup looked to be quite aggressive, but now he has that third base on the way. He is a lot more concerned with scouting. He does go in with another tag to make sure that the medevac does stay at home, and this is going to deter Spirit for the time being. He is stuck at home here with his mines, with his drop.
Yeah, exactly. He has to kind of find out just how much commitment there is going to be to those air units, whether there's Phoenix being banked up at home to try to stop that drop or anything, but he does get a scout of the third base here.
Well, yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, Cyan wasn't able to deny that. He was trying desperately to focus down that Hellion, but it does confirm the third base. Meanwhile, Spirit is making his way across the map. The medevac finally now leaving his bases.
Yeah, and I mean, funnily enough, this mine drop coming in so late does have huge potential for damage because it's just not the time that the Protoss is going to be checking for that on the minimap. Those regular timed mine drops, most people, even in lower leagues, are very familiar with when those hit.
Yeah, exactly. So this delayed mine drop could be a blessing in disguise here for Spirit, as Cyan is active with his army, but unfortunately his Stalkers and his Oracles are completely going to miss this drop. With these revelations, he may actually take note of the fact that the medevac is missing.
Yeah, he's going to know the medevac's missing. He sees the lack of tanks as well, so it looks like he's going to see if he can find a more non-committal way to put some pressure on and just shave off some of these units.
And as you say that, he's going to dip in with his Stalker. He's going to be able to pick off a couple of Marines here and there. Forces a pretty big repair reaction out of Spirit as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's been some very good control coming out of Cyan here, but there we go. The mine drop is set up and poised to go. Wouldn't mind seeing it hit the third either, but it's going to be charging on into the first base here. And is there going to be any reaction from Cyan? Big recall and good reactions with the pro pool.
Yeah, and there we go. It looks like both Widowmines are going to get taken out at the same time. 3 Stalkers, it looks to be, get caught in the middle of the map, were missed by that recall.
Yeah, brutal. And this is a pretty scary push that's coming towards him because there is no charge for Cyan there. Isn't going to be for a while. So he's going to have to hold this just with Stalkers. And he hasn't really had the chance to kite this coming across the map. And that's a lot of Marauders and a lot of medevacs. This is really scary here for the Protoss.
It really is, but here we go. 2 Widowmines get picked up before anything really does occur. We do have 1 shield battery behind this, but it's already out of energy.
Yeah, nice concave here from Cyan, but with the shield battery out of energy, if we don't have enough for a bit of an overcharge, this could get scary. We see lots of medevacs here are going to be able to heal that bio back on up if he just sits back for a moment here, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Cyan throwing down a 4th, really hedging his bets on defending this here.
Hey, what a Chad 4th, by the way. As his opponent's in his face, now, mate, let me just take a 4th. Don't worry about it. Oh my god, and we see once again Cyan dancing here with the army. He's going to be triggering one of these stims. The Zelts are coming on in. There is no Widowmine to support this.
Yeah, really nice force fields there, but there's just too many Marauders. I mean, these Stalkers are getting shredded.
Yeah, it's one of those things where overall, like, the army supply doesn't look too large, but there are just so many Marauders. They trade so well against these gateway units. It looks like with another warping of Zealots, Spirit is going to be forced back.
Yeah, he is, but he continues to dance with the units. He should be able to shave off the last of these Zealots, and now the Stalkers are in trouble. They're doing their best to pick off at medevacs where they can, and this will be a pause to the attack of Spirit, but I'm not really sure if there's much Cyan can do to get himself back into this game. He's just lost so much army over the course of these skirmishes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, he won't be able to. It's going to be a tough ask, I should say, to rebuild his army and catch back up in that supply, especially when you're focusing on a gateway-heavy composition. We do see the Marauders coming in once again. They do target down both sentries.
Ooh. Yeah, and I mean, Cyan is getting punished hard for his pick of neo-humanity here. The reinforcements coming across the map so very quickly, and the Liberator's just going to entrench this tight position here.
Wow, and Spirit, he doesn't even care about the army. He just runs past. He goes straight into the natural base, and he gets 13 probes.
Yeah, that is going to be going down, but also going down is a lot of these medevacs, and looks like Spirit was a little bit distracted cleaning up the run-by across the map at his 3rd, and that wasn't the best of trades. I don't know if it's enough to get Cyan back in the game, but a couple more of those in a row, and we could be seeing something completely different here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Cyan may have lost the mineral line, but because he has the 4th Nexus, like, he can recover, he can replace what he did just lose. Meanwhile, ooh, Widowmine drop does get sniped out of the sky here before getting any damage whatsoever, and Cyan is retaking control of the map.
Yeah, great little catch there from Cyan, and he will be looking to get on the front foot here. The macro has been pretty good here for Spirit. He has plenty of bio and ghosts here to help deal with the gateway army. So yeah, we're just going to be getting the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, he is. At the same time, we have an Oracle going to the main base. We have a Zealot by hitting the 3rd as well. Spirit is being pulled apart right now. Stasis Trap, nice reaction. He is able to deal with that at least, but a lot of lost mine time here in the 3rd.
Yeah, pretty incredible reactions dealing with both sides at once here, and we are going to be having Cyan just clearing out these mines here. Oh, the mine gets the Observer.
that's so smooch. The observer goes down. There's no detection available. We do have a revelation on the army, but Spirit is able to force Cyan back. Oh, the Oracle.
Yeah, the Oracle does go down. Cyan maybe just scrambling to get his defenses up and running back at home. And we do have those Zealots kind of running around. They might be able to get a bit of a wraparound, but it does look like either way, Cyan's going to have to take this fight. And this is a terrifying army Spirit is barreling down with.
Yeah, exactly. The EMPs blanket every single unit. We do have a couple of Zealots coming in from behind, but they're taking one of my shots to the face.
Yeah, that they do, and there's just a little bit too much Terran here, so those are Zealots wrapping around, not going to be able to get too much done here, and it does feel like Cyan is on his last legs.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, the EMPs as well as all this splash damage is just a little bit too much to deal with, unfortunately, because of the army composition. Cyan doesn't really have an anchor point. He doesn't have Colossus. He doesn't have any splash damage, just Zealots and Stalkers. The Immortal is going to join the fray, and that will help, but we get another EMP.
Yeah, and I mean, throughout this game, Spirit has been dancing back and forth so well with the Protoss army. He will just continue to do so, putting Cyan in such an awkward position here. The Observer does have the range to be able to help him take out these mines, but the base is a forfeit.
Yeah, the fourth base does go down. Speaking of forts, we do see Spirit try and take his own fourth, but it does get cancelled by a warp in across the map. Yeah, so nice little trade of bases here, and the Zealot's actually getting on top of the army right now. That means the Immortal's going to be able to come on through and start chunking through these, and we don't want to be losing ghosts here. This is going to be an expensive loss, as it looks like the ghosts are being cleaned up. Cyan just barely holding on.
He is, but he is on 3 bases. He doesn't really have that many gateway units to speak of, and it feels like he is really running out of steam here.
Yeah, exactly. And Spirit is confirming that. He scans on the right-hand side to see if there is another fourth base. Confirms that there isn't, and he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself overall. He's throwing down his own fourth. It is on the way. He unbars his mines. He's going across the map once again.
Yeah, Spirit just continuing to apply the pressure, and there is just less and less here for him every time. Last little bit of that scan does catch the Observer before it can get out of there, and here we go. Spirit is going to be charging on and down. We do have a shield battery overcharged, so definitely have to be careful here that we don't overextend.
Yeah, we do have to respect the shield battery, and Spirit, he doesn't care. He keeps on pushing forward. He's going to be able to pick off a couple of units, but he cannot break his position. The overcharge has ended, but now we have 3 Immortals.
Yeah, Spirit definitely needs to be careful not to overextend here, but Cyan just going to be jumping forward, picking off what he can with those Blink Stalkers. Lovely control there, and this is just such a dicey position for him where I just don't know if he can deal with the constant reinforcements of the Terran, and this is where I have to question going for such a small map in TVP.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we assumed that maybe he would be going for that Phoenix Colossus style, something a little bit more robust, a little bit more turtley, but no, he goes for something else entirely, and now Spirit once again finds his way into the natural base. He takes down 2 gateways. Oh my god, he just EMPs and takes down the Archons as well.
Yeah, big EMP is going to be going down on those Archons. Every single Immortal gets focused down as well, and he will be happy with those tech unit pickoffs. Nice little blink there from Cyan. Is going to be picking out the full medevac.
Yeah, it's one of those things where Spirit keeps like trading quite well, but it's always costing. Oh my god! The Stalkers are trying to hunt down these medevacs. They're going to be able to pick off every single unit. They get another medevac.
Yeah, nice stuff from Cyan there, just sharking around, and might actually be able to threaten the medevacs that remain. This could get really nasty.
Ooh. One more medevac goes down. Spirit almost losing everything. I mean, he still has an advantage. He still has a standing army, but I believe the ghost count, yeah, it was completely reset.
Ghost count reset, medevac count pretty bruised as well. Looks like he is going to be looking to go into a liberated transition, and I definitely like this in this more choked up map, but here we go. The Protoss' army is starting to look a bit scarier. We have a scan going down at the 4th, which unfortunately I think... Okay, no, we'll just catch the transferring probes.
Oh yeah, it does see the transferring probes. Does confirm the saturation on the 4th base as well. Spirit is going to try and deny that. We'll see if he can, though, as he's pushing on forward. He's going to be able to catch... Ooh. Actually, an EMP gets baited out there.
Yeah, nice blinks there, and we do have, looks like Storm is finished up, so Cyan has the tools that he needs to go for a bit of a comeback in this game, and Spirit suddenly not looking as far ahead as he was.
Yeah, exactly. His pushes maybe a little bit too wasteful at times, just as you said, a little bit over eager, over aggressive. We do see Cyan pushing forward. He has recovered quite a bit economically. He's got a more robust army. He's got some splash damage. He has 3 High Templar in that prism.
Yeah, and I mean, just like that, we have 2-2 finishing up for both players. Librange can be finishing for Spirit, and he has been able to show in other matchups as well just how terrifying he can be with his Lib harass, so I wonder if that's something we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, for the time being, Liberators are with the main army, just forcing Cyan back, just trying to cover some of these angles that he can get surrounded from. Overcharge once again popped.
Yeah, Spirit's going to be going to have to be careful with how he sets this up and what angle he chooses to fight from, but there really aren't too many Zealots, so I think he can get a bit more aggressive here.
Yeah, where are the Zealots? They seem to be across the map, and they're going to be able to catch this planetary before it does finish. So a couple of these SPs are going to be going down. Reinforcements are going to clean up these Zealots, and now we can focus on the main fight. Cyan blinking on forward, avoiding those liberation zones.
Yeah, nice angle and even better Storms coming down. There should be enough Medivac energy just to heal those up, but they will be lasting damage as they tip away at that energy. And Spirit going to be charging on forward, but big Storms going down on the entirety of the bio.
Oh my god, so much bio just goes down to the Storms, but the Liberators keep on leapfrogging forward, and Spirit still has a standing army. He's pushing on forward. We have more Storms!
Yeah, giant Storms, but he is standing in those liberation zones. He is desperately blinking forward to take out the Liberators, but the Liberator's going to get the last laugh there. Cute little bit of micro there, pulling that Immortal out of the liberation zone, but it does wander back in, and I just don't think there is any way for Cyan to break this.
Mate, the freedom zones, they do not stop. Liberation has arrived here for Cyan. We do see a bit of a counterattack to catch some of these reinforcements, but the 4th base is going to be broken, and there just isn't much left at all for Cyan.
Yeah, Cyan's supply and economy down in the dumps here. He is desperately trying to make this attack work as those Stalkers move command away from the Liberators. GG is called, and Spirit confirming, going for that little victory lap.
Wow, GG, well played. It wasn't an easy game, but you could argue maybe Spirit didn't make it easy for himself as he just kept on pushing, desperately wanted to end the game then and there with every single push, but sometimes overstay is welcome. Cyan fighting his heart out to stay in that game, almost came back, by the way, especially with those Storms, but alas, in the end, it was Spirit's game. He does solidify his victory here for his team.
Yeah, great effort and good showing from Cyan here, but Spirit just a little bit too strong today.
Yeah, just a little bit. And with that, again, congratulations to Spirit, Cham, and ReWhite, as well as their team, Starlight Twinkle, for advancing on to a qualifying match for WTL Code A. That match will be played tomorrow. After this series, or coming up next, we'll be seeing who's going to be facing Starlight Twinkle in that match.
Yeah, exactly. All these storylines are forming together before our very eyes, and this is the last chance for these teams to get into that next step of the World Team League. Something, of course, that they're all fighting very hard for the privilege to do.
Oh yeah, and there are still some really strong and powerful teams waiting for that shot. Coming up next is going to be Team Gosu going up against Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and I feel like we have some strong ties to both of these teams. It's actually going to be a banger, mate. It's going to be a banger. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Will they be able to bring home the pizza, or will the reign of the King of Sea extend to the World Team League?
Oh, let's find out. Of course, that match is scheduled to start in, I believe, 20 minutes. So we have a little bit of time before that does happen. I believe we are going to be heading over to, I believe, America for that. And yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Before we get too far into it and before we go on a break, What are your thoughts here on Team Gosu versus the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse?
Oh, put me on the spot. I think we go to an ace match.
Ooh.
And I think Gosu wins that ace match.
Oh. I do think that Miyamaika has the potential to lead the way here for his team. It's gonna be tough though. I think it's gonna be tough. I think Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, they are fielding their strongest roster available to them. They're fielding Eternity, Rilakkuma, and Yoga. I want to believe in the ace match. My heart wants the ace match. My head, ace match as well. Yeah, I agree. Ace match. Let's go all the way.
Yeah,
all the way.
All the way.
All the way.
And who brings home the pizza?
Oh. You know what? Miyamaika would bring home the pizza. He'd be willing to give some pizza to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I think so. He's gracious enough for that.
I think he would tell the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse that he's bringing them pizza, and on the drive home, eat the pizza.
He just gives
and then give them the empty box
yeah.
and walk away.
Smurge, papi, smurge. So yes, we will be featuring the likes of Miyamaika, Reaper, Rocker, Eternity, Rilakkuma, and Yoga. After this break, again, the match is scheduled to begin in 18 minutes, but we may begin before that. We'll see when the teams are ready. We'll see.
Yeah, and then they get the pizza boxes and they throw them in the bin because they're like, oh, it's Mio. There's no way that he gives us the pizza. He probably ate them on the way over. And in the bin, they've got the pizza in them.
You never know what he's gonna do. You never know. It's crazy with me and Mike. It's crazy. It's
mind games.
all the mind games. So yeah, everyone stay tuned. We still have another match ahead of us. Again, we're gonna be going on a bit of an extended break, but when we return, more StarCraft.
Beautiful. Enjoy your break, people, and great game coming up for you as soon as that's done.